Hello and welcome back to Toadstool Tarot. I decided that I would like to start a hashtag, unless it's already been started by someone else that I'm unaware of, but in any case we'll revive it if it has, called hashtag Major Favorites or hashtag Major Favorites. Now, the idea behind this is as I was building a collection, I found certain cards from various decks that communicated more strongly to me about that placement in the deck than cards from any other deck. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to do a compilation deck of cards from various decks that were the strongest for me. But 78 cards is a little bit overwhelming. So I thought, well, for starters, let's try 22. Even 22 is overwhelming if you're pulling from 22 different decks, or if you have an enormous collection. Some people have hundreds of decks. This could take them a very long time unless particular cards really stand out for each of the majors. But we're going to give this a go. I did compile a list on a sheet of paper. I went through all my decks and thumbed through to find the strongest cards and whittled my way down. There were a few decks that actually had more than one favorite for that card. No, there was few different decks that had a favorite for that card. I'm not explaining this well, but you'll see as we go along. Should really pick one card per major, but sometimes that's a little difficult. Sometimes you have to add an honorable mention, or there are different reasons as to why it's your favorite. Anyway, if you accept this challenge, don't forget to announce the deck that each card is from and list them in your comments so people viewing them can track down the deck for purchase if they should desire to do so. So we're going to start off. My first card is the Fool from the Whispering Spirits Tarot. My second card is the Magician from the Kalma Tarot, Kalma, which is only available, it's a majors only deck, at makeplayingcards.com. My third choice, the High Priestess. I didn't really have a favorite High Priestess card, but this one was pretty nice. It's from the, let's see, the Mystical Tarot. The fourth card is the Empress, and I have two of them. The Empress from my favorite deck, also at makeplayingcards.com, the RWS 2.0. This one is my favorite Empress because of the gorgeous sky. So it's a beautiful card. Now, I have an alternative favorite Empress, and this is from the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. Her name has been changed from the Empress to the Green Mother. Conceptually, I like this Empress the best. It's also beautiful, but I like the beauty in the coloring of the other one. So I couldn't decide which of these two is my favorite Empress. Next we have card number 4, the Emperor. This is another one that really generally doesn't speak out to me, the Emperor. But I do kind of like this one from, there's this tarot called the Cheimonette, Cheimonette tarot. I believe it's out of print, and it's not easy to find. Next we have the Hierophant, and I have 2 of them for the Hierophant. The Hierophant, again, I like the Hierophant from the Whispering Spirits Tarot. And I also like the Hierophant from the 7th Sphere Tarot. Although in this one he's called the Priest. I like this one because of the key and keyhole. That really speaks to me as a Hierophant. The other one also does too, because there's this, in both of them, it's sort of less religious and more about a leader or a guide. So yeah, tough decision on that front. Next is number 6, the Lovers. And I'm back to the Whispering Spirits again. Sorry, I think I found about 4 cards that were favorites from this deck. That's the Lovers from the Whispering Spirits Tarot. I also liked the Lovers from the Mystical Tarot. I can find it. Do I have the right one? Yeah, that's it. That's the Lovers from the Mystical Tarot. Then next is the Chariot. Now on the Chariot, this is the card. I've always had trouble deciphering the meaning of the Chariot, and this one did it for me. This is from the Everyday Witch, because I see it as moving forward, but for me it speaks more of direction. And while I'm not that crazy about the motorcycle and the sort of modern interpretation of the card, I really love the 2 signs that say this way, that way. And for me, that speaks the Chariot. So you usually get horses or sphinxes pulling in opposite directions. I love that Chariot. So meaning-wise, this is my favorite Chariot card from the Everyday Witch. However, in terms of its beauty, I love this Chariot from the Golden Klimt. This has a more ethereal, spiritual take to me, for me, to the Chariot. After the Chariot comes Strength. For me, the Strength card that's my favorite is from the White Witch Tarot. I really love the Strength card. There's no lions in it. It has, well, you have to interpret how that communicates strength to you. It has to, for me, to do with inner strength and overcoming pressures, barriers, pressures that we put on ourselves. That's the White Witch Tarot Strength card. Next on my list is the Hermit. Ooh, this was a tough one. I think I have a number of them here. The Hermit, first of all, from the Seventh Sphere Tarot, is this gorgeous Hermit. It's very solitary, it's very pure, it's just beautiful, I think, to look at. But I also love, let's see, the Estensi Tarot, or the Golden Tarot of the Renaissance. I love this Hermit. This has gold foil, but it's the illustration and the coloring that I really like in this Hermit. And there's no lantern in this, it's an hourglass. So this is, between those two, those are our favorite Hermits. There are also a couple more, though. Hang on. The Mystical Tarot Hermit. I think. Sorry. I should be a little more organized. That's what happens when you start pulling multiple cards from the same deck. Oh yeah. That's the Mystical Tarot Hermit. It's quite nice. Then I have the Hermit from the Kalma Tarot. Which is a bit droopy. That's the Kalma Tarot. And lastly, the Golden Art Nouveau Hermit. These are all wonderful hermits. I shouldn't have chosen so many, but, you know, hey, it's kind of hard to do, hard to pick. I still think I probably like the Seventh Sphere one and the Estensi Golden Tarot, the Renaissance Hermits, the best. Moving right along, the next one is number 10, the Wheel of Fortune. And that is from the Kalma Tarot again. This is a card that I usually don't care much for. Of all the decks that I have, this is one of the more pleasing ones to me. I like that there aren't any labels on it, and the drawing is sort of whimsical and macabre at the same time, and the coloring's nice. Let's see, where are we? Next is Justice. This is Justice from the Mystical Tarot. Another card that I don't really have a favorite for, but if I had to pick one, this is a strong contender. I like how she's sort of in motion. Justice in action. Let's see. Next is the Hanged Man, which brings me back to, I think, my last card of choice from the Whispering Spirits deck, which is actually called the Hanging Spirit in this deck, but that's my favorite Hanged Man card. After the Hanged Man, we have Death. Now, my favorite Death card is from the Everyday Witch. Meaning-wise, well, I just narrowed it down to one. For me, this is the best Death card and communicates to me that transition, moving forward, being held back, cutting ties that bind. One door closes as one door opens. The mystery of death. Yeah, this is my favorite Death card, the Everyday Witch. Then next we have number 14, Temperance. The Temperance card is, I have two of them. One is from the Intuitive Tarot. This is a beautiful Temperance card, just beautifully designed. I love the circular flow of this card. The Intuitive Tarot. Then I have one more from the Mystical Tarot. This also is a beautiful Temperance card. Number 15, the Devil. My favorite Devil is from the Golden Botticelli, and he's actually a cute little devil. That's the Golden Botticelli. But I have two more. One is, again, from the White Witch. This is a more sinister, psychological devil. And the last one I have is from the Pre-Raphaelite Tarot. This one I find striking because it's, can't quite tell. It looks like possibly a female devil, which is very different, or transgender, or you choose which gender this devil seems to relate to for you. Very ambiguous, I think, but very unusual and appealing. So those are my 3 choices for the devil. Next we have the tower. My favorite tower, just on a visual level, is again from the Kalma tarot. And I just find that a stunning looking card from the arrangement and the color. It's the tower. Now, as far as meaning goes, I like the tower from the Everyday Witch. Because I always view the tower as calamity from the outside imposing on us. This one, she's taken control in her own hands. She's brought the tower down. She's shaken things up. So that's a favorite tower from the meaning of the tower for me. That's from the Everyday Witch. Let's see, where are we? We are down now to the star. The star, I have the 7th sphere. Looks a little more like Temperance than the star, but the star often does resemble Temperance to me. It's a beautiful star, I think. I also like the star from the RWS 2.0 because of the multiple colors in the stars. RWS 2.0. And a third choice is from the Medieval tarot. I think this is, that's the star or the stars, but that's a beautiful one, I think. And I think I had one more, if I can find it. Yeah. This is a nice one too. The star from the Mystical tarot. Let's see, where are we now? That brings us to number 18, the Moon. From the Moon, I have again a selection from the Everyday Witch. This one has to do with the meaning and the translation, which really appeals to me. Instead of 2 dogs straddling the road to the moon, we have 2 cats, a domestic cat and a wild cat reflected in the water. So I really like that moon. Another moon that I really love is from the Estensi or Golden Tarot of the Renaissance. This is a very different kind of moon. No dogs, no cats, sort of measuring the moon. But it's a beautiful card. Next is the Sun. This is my favorite Sun card. This is from the Intuitive Tarot by Cilla Black. Oh, not Cilla Black. Cilla Conway. Imagine a tarot by Cilla Black. She could sing it. Cilla Conway's Intuitive Tarot. I think those are the only two Cillas I've ever heard of anyway. Next is Judgment. And my Judgment card I've chosen is from the White Witch Tarot. I like this sort of self-judgment with these thought balloons. And the last of my major favorites is from the Kalma Tarot. Again, I had trouble with the World card because the World card in general is not that appealing to me, but this is a nice one. So, those are my hashtag major favorites. And I'd like to see which ones are yours. Won't you take part in this hashtag challenge?